beganika, gawapa beganika, gawapa beganika, indonjaba, gawapa beganika, gawapa beganika, gawapa beganika, indonjaba, gawapa beganika, gawapa beganika, indonjaba. Gawaba beganikag, nindunjaba. White Earth is where I'm from. Gawaba beganikag, White Earth, or the place where there's an abundance of white clay. That's what they call White Earth. And this is our Ojibwe word of the day. What do you think, sweetie?
Oh, it's a
Should it
great
be a good
word.
Ojibwe word of the day?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So welcome back to the show. Welcome back to BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. I am Nanaboozhoo, and this is Natasha. Way hey ya, hey ya, hey hey oh, way ya, hey ya, hey oh, way ya, hey ya, hey hey ya, way oh, hey oh, hey ya, oh, way ya, hey ya, hey hey oh, way ya, hey ya, hey oh, way ya, hey ya, hey hey ya, way oh, hey ya, hey ya, oh, way ya, hey ya, hey hey ya, way ya, hey ya, hey oh, way ya, hey ya, hey hey ya, way ya, hey ya, hey ya, oh, way ya, hey ya, hey hey ya, way ya, hey ya, hey oh, way ya, hey ya, hey hey ya, way oh, hey ya, hey ya, oh, way ya, hey ya, hey hey ya, way ya, hey ya, hey oh, way ya, hey ya, hey hey ya, way ya, hey ya, hey ya, oh, way ya, hey ya, hey hey ya, way ya, hey ya, hey oh, way ya, hey ya, hey hey ya, way ya, hey ya, hey ya, oh, way ya, hey ya, hey hey ya, way ya, hey ya, hey oh, way ya, hey ya, hey hey ya, way ya, hey ya, hey ya, oh, way ya, hey ya, hey hey ya, way ya, hey ya, hey oh, way ya, hey ya, hey hey ya, way ya, hey ya, hey ya, oh, way ya, hey ya, hey hey ya, way ya, hey ya, hey ya, oh, way ya, hey ya, hey hey ya, way ya, hey ya, hey ya, oh, way ya, hey ya, hey hey ya, way ya, hey ya, hey ya, oh, way ya, hey ya, hey hey ya, way ya, hey ya, hey ya, oh, way ya, hey ya, hey hey ya, way ya, hey ya, hey ya, oh, way ya, hey ya, hey hey ya, way ya, hey ya, hey ya, oh. Oh, I am Nanaboozhoo, and this is Natasha. I will see you again. Gigawabamin.
Minowa.
Oh, what?
Oh, that guy's handsome. He sure is. Okay, BOOZHOO, and welcome back to the show. A lot of music this morning. Yeah, gotta start off the show with some songs for Gwen Carley. Oh, is Gwen here? Yep, first in class. Well, BOOZHOO, Gwen. How you doing? Mino Giga Jabe. Good morning. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. Today is Isqua Anima Egi. Michael, what? You screwed up the text again. Oh, sorry. I can fix it. Iskwa Anama E Gijagud means after prayer day, huh, sweetie? Sure does. Because yesterday was prayer day. Did you say your prayers? Say your prayers. Why does that sound like a threat? I know. Say your prayers. Because I'm going to shoot you. I like how a murderer is also religious. Say your prayers. Don't forget to ask for forgiveness. I'm going to put you in your grave. But I want to make sure your soul goes to heaven. Yeah. Ishkwa. Anama E. Is it Ishkwa or Iskwa? I think it's Ishkwa. 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 Anama E Gishka. After prayer day is our word for Monday. And I guess that's all we have for today. I guess we should call it a show. And Gwen says, beautiful day in Delaware. Can't wait to get back home to LCO though. Yeah, we miss you. Why don't you come back? The snow is going away. Gradually, slowly. Sometimes it snows in April. And sometimes the winter just won't give up. What is it now? It's 23 degrees. Like it's been for days. It's been in the 20s. I don't mean to gripe, because it's 20 above zero. We know what it's like to be 20 below zero. Yeah, we sure do. But Gwen's going to be home Thursday. Okay. All right, everybody. Hey, Minnesota. Gwen's coming back on Thursday. Let's clean up this state. The state's really messy. Why don't you clean it up? We want Gwen to feel at home. Sequoia hummingbird. Hoa. Sequoia hummingbird. BOOZHOO. It's old Sequoia hummingbird, sweetie. Well, welcome to the show, Sequoia. Been making lots of syrup on Madeline Island. Love to send you some. Oh, wow. We'd love to get some. Get some of that sweet. Whoop. Oh, I changed it, didn't I? Yep. Yeah, yesterday we were all about the Zinzabakwad. Zinzabakwad? Zinzabakwad, really. Zinzabakwad. The maple sugar. You see, back in the days of the grandfathers, the Ojibwe people were the first to harvest the maple sugar. Zinzabakwad. And yesterday we had a... Are we sure we don't have? Yep. It's all that boring 7 grandfather values and that. Yeah, you gotta go preach about the grandfathers again? Yeah. Hey, you kids, why don't you learn your 7 values? But today instead, real briefly, I'm gonna tell the story of how Anishinaabe got the sacred Jiwa Gamizigan. Is that right? Yep. Jiwa Gamizigan. Jiwa Gamizigan is syrup. Jiwa Gamizigan. And maple syrup then would be like what? Zinzabakwad. Jiwa Gamizigan. Maple syrup. You see, back in the days of the grandfathers, way back, even, in the beginning times, things used to be really different in the earliest days. Like the beaver had a fluffy tail. Yeah, that's right. Hummingbirds. Oh, I should tell the hummingbird story for Sequoia. Yeah. Hummingbirds, at one point, were kind of like chickadees. They didn't fly so fast and stuff. Early on, there were a lot of things were different. For one, the Aninatig, the maple tree, used to pour fully processed syrup right out of its tree. Because as the story goes, back in the days of the grandfathers, there was a young boy whose job it was, like for a lot of kids in those days, their job would be to go out in the woods and gather up the dead branches and tree limbs and stuff for firewood. The dead stuff's all dry, laying on the ground. You can just pick it up. And even the little stuff is good because you need that for kindling, huh, sweetie? Yeah, I gotta have little branches for kindling. So the kids would go out and, gather wood. Well, this one kid goes out there and he's all sleepy. He falls asleep. He's like, the heck with this. He's asleep for a long time. When he wakes up, he reaches up to pull himself up. And the branch breaks right off. It's just a little skinny branch on this maple tree. And he notices that in that tree is syrup's coming out. And he takes a little taste and he's like, oh, wow. Man, this would really taste good on pancakes. And so he gathers up some of this syrup and he brings it back to the village and he goes, hey, you guys, did you know maple trees give maple syrup? We can put this on our pancakes. And they're like, what are you talking about? That's not our way. We are the Anishinaabe. We like dry pancakes. He goes, no, come out to the maple tree. I will show you. So he brought the people out to the maple tree. He goes, look. And sure enough, the fully processed, delicious maple syrup was just pouring right out of this tree. And so all the people started, going up and they started sucking syrup just raw right out of the tree. And they're like, oh, this is sweet and delicious. How wonderful. And pretty soon they're all out in the woods, breaking off branches and just feeding on maple syrup. Well, naturally, everybody got big and fat. And then that sugar crash came and they all fell asleep. Well, Gitchimanadu, the great spirit, he comes round and he's all like, what? Look at this. Oh, for crying out loud. It is clear to me that the Anishinaabe are not yet ready. They're not mature enough. They don't have enough discipline to accept the massive responsibility of having magical maple syrup trees. So what he did was he goes, I'm going to have to dilute all these trees with water. From now on, their sap's not going to be so sweet and delicious and ready for pancakes. The people are going to have to boil it down, turn it into sugar, and then turn that sugar into syrup. It's going to be a whole thing. And this way, they'll know to not overdo it, not overindulge. You must be very careful, In those days, so syrup became very precious. They said, you know what? We have to learn that it takes hard work and discipline. And you got to go way back in the woods and do all this work before you can have your delicious pancakes. Your delicious gigaje ba wisaniwin. Your delicious breakfast. And this is why breakfast had become a sacred meal for the Anishinaabe. Is that right? Yeah, sure, why not? Everything is sacred. Okay. And this is the story of the little boy who discovered syrup. And then how the Great Spirit discovered that we were a bunch of couldn't control our sweet tooth. Yeah. Zinzabakwad. Maple sugar. Anyway. Wes Crossley. Glad to have found my way here. Greetings from Indiana. Hey, Wes, welcome. Wes is here, sweetie. No way, Wes Crossley. The one in the same. He says, I'm originally from White Earth. Hey, great. I hope you caught the song. Our first song here was a song for White Earth. Our song was, Gawabe Ganikag Nindonjaba. I don't remember the song anymore. Hold on a sec. Oh yeah, here we go. Gawaba biganikag, Gawaba biganikag, Gawaba biganikag, Nindonjaba, yay. Ooh, yay. Oh, you got such a pretty voice, sweetie. Knock it out of here. Sing a line for the people. Kawaba biganikag, Kawaba biganikag, Nindonjaba. That's very good. Yeah, get out of here. Gawaba Biguni Cog. White earth. So the place, Ga, usually means place. Gawaba Biguni Cog. It's the place where white clay, that's what they basically mean, white earth. They're saying white clay. White earth would actually be like, Wabishki Aki? The white earth. Yeah. But this is white clay. This is the place where with the abundance of white clay. Ga Waba Biguni Cog. So welcome. He's from White Earth. Yeah. Diane's here. BOOZHOO, Diane. Diane says, good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm a bit late. Don't apologize. You're on Indian time. Nobody gets judged for being fashionably late on our show. That's right, huh? You know, God knows we're fashionably late most of the time. We're on Indian time. Clock don't tell me what time it is. I tell that clock what time it is. Because I got the wisdom, Nabwakawin, and the humility, the Badane dizzy win, and the Aquade win, and the courage to admit that I'm in Indian time. What are you talking about? I have no idea. Just some Ojibwe words. I gotta teach Ojibwe words. Wisdom, humility, and courage. Hey, sweetie. Yeah, yes, my love. You want to take a phone call? Yeah, sure. Line 2? Yep. Hello, caller. Welcome to the BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO podcast. You're on the air. Hey there, NANABOOZHOO. It's me, John Denver. Hey, sweetie, it's John Denver. You mean the ghost of John Denver? Yeah, that's right. Is this the ghost of John Denver? I thought you were dead. Well, silly. Of course I'm dead. It's the ghost of John Denver, if you must. But you can just call me John. Well, hi, John. So, yeah, we really miss you here in land of the living. Well, you know, I miss all the living people, too. I used to enjoy playing my guitar and singing songs. Singing songs about the mountains, the country roads. Heck, one time I even sang about a jet airplane. Yeah, leaving on an airplane. You should have wrote a song about not flying drunk in an airplane. Well, why would you say such a thing, NANABOOZHOO? Well, because didn't you get just hammered and then jump in a plane and crash it, and that's how you died? Well, yeah, I'm afraid that is how I died. I have to tell you, I'm a little sensitive about it. I'd prefer it if you didn't make light. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. Yeah, come on, man. Don't make jokes about John Denver dying. Yeah, that was pretty tasteless. Sorry about that. So what can I do for you, ghost of John Denver? Well, I was calling in because I wanted to learn some Ojibwe. I woke up this morning, poured myself a cup of coffee, and I said, John, you should tune into that BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO podcast. You could learn a thing or two. Okay. Well, I was going to talk about wisdom. And in Ojibwe, we say Nabwakawin. Nabwakawin, wisdom. That's fine, just fine. Yep. And then humility, Dabadane, dizzy win. Dabadane, dizzy win. Humility. It's important to be humble. It sure is, John. And then, Aquade a win means courage. Aquade a win, courage. Well, I'll tell you what, it took a lot of courage for me to climb into that cockpit that day and fly off into the mountainside. I don't know if it took a whole lot of courage or wisdom to fly drunk. I think, didn't you have like a serious alcohol problem? Well, just because I like to get drunk in the mornings, I wouldn't say it was serious. Yeah, but I heard you once like freaked out on your ex-wife and took a chainsaw to the couch. Is that true? Well, yes, she wanted to get a divorce, And they told me I had to give her half of everything. So I started with that couch. Yeah, you must have been pretty mad, huh? I was furious. You know what? It makes me angry just thinking about it now. Why, I'm going to go wring somebody's neck. Is this you mad? This is about as angry as I can get. Shucks. I'm John Denver. You know, sunshine in my eyes, it makes me blind. Oh yeah, I like that song. Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy. Sunshine and the eyes can make me blind. Sunshine almost always gets me high. Gets you high or something. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, anything else I can do for you today? No, I just wanted to call in and tell you how much I enjoy your show, NanaBOOZHOO. Well, thank you, John. It means a lot to me to hear you, to get your support. I appreciate that. Say, how do you say goodbye in Ojibwe? Well, John, we don't really say goodbye. I feel like I'll see you again. So I'll teach you Gigawaba Min, Minowa. Well, Gigawaba Min, Minowa, NanaBOOZHOO. Yeah, you too, buddy. Wow. Old John Denver. Oh, peaced out John Denver. Yep. Even in death, he can't get that angry. I probably shouldn't pick on him so much, though. Yeah, why do ya? I don't know. I think it's funny. Nabako in wisdom. Tabadain Diziwin is humility. Aquade Ewin is courage. And Debwewin is truth. Zaga Idiwin, love. Goyakwa Diziwin, honesty. Or, as Michael seems to think, the word honest. Oh, did I screw that up? Yeah, come on, man. I'm trying to do a show here. You don't yell at me. Oh, I'll yell at you. You don't like it? No, I'm just kidding, buddy. Yeah, I know. You don't like it? I think I saw the Sopranos him say that. I'll yell at you. Dizzy win. Honesty. Honesty. Such a lonely word. Everyone is so untrue. Should I tell the hummingbird story? Nenu Kasi? Yeah. Maybe if I can find a picture of Nenu Kasi. We'll do this for Sequoia hummingbird. Our new viewer on the show. But I don't think I have a picture of a hummingbird. Oh, we gotta have one somewhere. Do I dare go into the files, sweetie? You're already in the files. I know. No, not videos, though. What I really want is to go into this UBS disk. Dig down into the archives. Find one of Michael's cartoons. Did you know Michael was a cartoonist, sweetie? I did know that. Yeah. Oh, you know what? He's got a illustration on the back of one of the books. I'm feeling like I'm getting close. Oh, how about in BOOZHOO Ajitamu? I think there's a hummingbird in that book. La 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 la. Nindonjapa. Nope, sweetie. I didn't find it. Are you giving up right away? I'm going to give up immediately. Don't give up, 'cause you have friends. Don't give up, you still have us. Nope, I don't know where it is, sweetie. We'll have to use our imagination. Yeah. Imagine, if you will, a hummingbird. Nenukasi. Nenukasi is a little hummingbird. And this is a story for Sequoia hummingbird. Back in the days of the grandfathers, in the earliest times, when Amik, the beaver, still had a fluffy tail, and when maple syrup would run fresh, fully processed maple syrup just ran out of maple trees, the hummingbird was kind of like a chickadee. It was a little bird that just sort of fluttered around. It wasn't that big of a deal. But the day came, a chi-ishko-day, a great fire broke out. Kind of like this, only it engulfed all of the woods. And it was just tearing through the old dead, it was just one of these big, explosive woodland fires. And all the animals gathered at the edge of the lake there as they watched their homes burn and are crying around. Well, pretty soon, Nenukasi, the little hummingbird, who was like a chickadee at this time, he goes into the lake and he grabs a tiny little beak full of water. And he flies straight into the flames and he drops a little water on that Ishkode. He showed great courage. Akwade Ewen, right into the fire. And he turns around, he comes back out, and he grabs just a little more water, and he brings it back in. And he can only carry about as much as like an eyedropper, sweetie. And so, back and forth, little Nenukasi would grab one eyedropper full of water and bring it into the woods and drop it on the fire. Oh, Wagosh, a fox, he's leaning against a tree watching this. Back and forth, Nenukasi would fly. Finally, he goes, "What are you even doing? It's not going to help." And little Nenukasi, without slowing down, just says, "I'm doing what I can." Back and forth, Nenukasi. What a great spirit. Gitchi Manadu, he hears this. And he calls down, he goes, "Nenukasi, because of your great Akwade Ewen, I want to give you a gift. You know how you showed so much courage, and so much perseverance. You did what you could to fight this fire, even though it was just a little bit." And he goes, poof. And now Nenukasi, where once he was flying around, just flittering around like a chickadee, now his wings were super fast. He goes, I will make you the fastest bird in the world. Your wings will fly so fast, will move so fast, you won't even be able to see them. They'll just be a blur. And you'll fly so fast, you'll be like a helicopter. You can just go up and down, backwards and forwards, insanely. And Nenukasi goes, he tries out his new wings, and sure enough, they're just super fast. And it creates a hum. He sounds like a little humming. A hummingbird. That's where he got his name. Nenukasi, the hummingbird. And then, Gichimadu makes it rain and that fire goes out. But this is why we honor the Nenukasi, the great. Nenukasi should represent Akwade Ewen, courage. I thought the bear represented courage. Yeah, I know. Makwa, courage. But I think the hummingbird should be for courage. And this is for Sequoia hummingbird. Gee, miigwech, Nenukasi. Miigwech to the hummingbird. On this day, we honor the little bird who could. The little bird who could. We tried, at least. Better than foxes leaning against a tree. Why do hummingbirds hum? Oh, brother. Did we get a dad joke from Wally Bear? Yep. This is Wally Bear, you guys. King of the dad jokes. Why do hummingbirds hum? Oh, they don't know the words. I'm a hummingbird. Well, you can tell by the way I hum my words. I'm a hummingbird, no time to talk. You can look the other way. Do. But it's okay. It's alright to look the other way. We can try to understand. La-dee-da-dee. What happened to disco? I don't know. Zero Infinity. Bonjour. How's everyone today? Did you see that picture of Prince when he was 11? Oh, that was so cute. Zero reminded me of that. She writes like Prince. Everyone today. There's a picture of Prince that somehow got unearthed when he was 11 years old. It's just cute. You can tell immediately it's Prince. Why does Nanaboozhoo babble on? Because he's from Babylon. How dare you, sir? I am paid handsomely for my wisdom and my comical yarns. Your comical yarns. Yep. I have a unique set of skills. I can make funny stories out of nothing. I'm not like that old actor. What's his name? There's a lot of old actors. Bruce Willis? No. Poor Bruce Willis. He's losing his mind. He's got dementia or something. Yeah. No, Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson! Why was I bringing up Liam Neeson? I don't know. Something about courage or honesty? I don't know. I just saw a bunch of pictures of Liam Neeson where he wet his pants. What? Really? Yeah. Because he's getting old, you know. Or he's in a hurry, you know. I don't know if he pees himself or if he just, you know, doesn't shake before he pulls his pants back up or what his problem is. But Liam Neeson pees his pants. Why am I talking about that? Oh, I remember. What? You said you had a unique set of skills. Oh, right. You know, like the Liam Neeson movie where he's like an assassin or something. I have a unique set of skills. If you harm my daughter, you know, I'm going to make an average movie that everyone will see. I have a unique set of skills. I can wet myself and then get my picture taken and still be a movie star and not be embarrassed. How uniquely skilled is Liam Neeson? And that's the Debwaywen. That's the truth, sweetie. The truth. That's the double truth, Ruth. You gotta believe it. Debwaywen is truth. And Zaga Edie Wen. Zaga Edie Wen. Love. Love. Love Zaga Edie Wen. You know, Will Smith wants to be a symbol of love or something. He wants to be a river to his people. Yeah. What is he, Moses now? Zaga Edie Wen. If you want to learn about love, listen to Will Smith. He's got the Guayakwa Dizzy Wen. He's got the honesty, the integrity, the truth. How come we have truth and honesty as two different categories? Those two seem really close. Like if you're honest, you tell the truth. Why does that have to be two different values? Well, because truth is a thing itself. It's not just telling the truth. To be honest, you tell the truth, but the truth is a thing. The truth is a thing. I thought love was in the eye of or beauty was in the eye of the beholder, and there was no absolute truth. No, that's nonsense. That's what they teach you in college. Yeah. College. Oh, there's no absolute truth. Really? Oh, really? Hey, sweetie. Yeah. You want to take a call? Let me clear my throat. Yeah, sure. On line 2? Yep, line 2. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. You're on the air. Hee Shamoa. Hey there, Nanaboozhoo. It's me, Michael Jackson. Oh, hey, Michael. How you doing? I'm doing great. Just great. I wanted to call into the show and learn Ojibwe language. You want to learn Ojibwe? Of course. Everyone wants to learn Ojibwe. It's a beautiful language. Okay. Would you like to learn the word for Monday? Of course. So don't be silly. Iskwa anime e gija good. After prayer day or Monday. Iskwa anime e gija good. After prayer day. Shamoa. That's for Monday. Yeah. Iskwa anime e gija good. Monday. And then, we were talking about White Earth. Gawaba bigani kog. I don't even know if I can say it without singing it. Gawaba bigani kog. Gawaba bigani kog. Nindonjuba shamoa. That's a beautiful song, Nanaboozhoo. Hey, thanks. Yeah, Gawaba bigani kog is White Earth. That's a reservation up here. It's I don't know. It's a good, probably 90-minute drive from Bemidji. No, that's ignorant. It's not that far away. Oh, have you been to White Earth? Of course. I go to White Earth all the time. I go to the powwow because I love to dance and I love to sing. Shamoa. Okay, take it easy. And then Nindonjiba is where I'm from. Nindonjiba. Neverland is where I'm from. Yeah, Neverland. You know why they called it Neverland, sweetie? Why? Here's my dad joke. Because you should never leave your kids there. No, that's ignorant. Allegedly. What? Allegedly. What's the Ojibwe word for allegedly? I don't know. But yeah, so what else can I do for you today, Michael? Oh, I just wanted to call in and see how you were doing. I wanted to say, BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO. Yeah. Oh, it's a ghost of Michael Jackson, right? Did you die? I've been hearing conflicting things. No, that's ignorant. Someone else died. I was replaced back in the 80s. You were replaced in the 80s? Of course. After the Pepsi commercial, I got burned real bad, and I got addicted to drugs. Oh, that's right. You had your hair caught on fire, and everyone made such a big deal out of it. No, that's ignorant. It burned my skin, and so I had to get plastic surgery. And that's why I got a nose job, and a chin job, an eye job, and eyeliner, tattooed to my eyes, and skin bleaching, and that thing under my neck, and a divot in my chin, and my teeth fixed, and a wig. But other than that, I've had no plastic surgery. Oh, okay. I wish people would quit talking about that. Yeah, it's ignorant. Nobody's talking about it anymore, dude. No, nah, people don't really bring up Michael Jackson anymore. I mean, I do, but I don't know, people have moved on. No, that's ignorant. Yeah. I mean, I think Prince still holds a certain level of respect. And people are pretty sentimental about Prince music. But there's not a lot of Michael Jackson fans anymore. No one's putting on Beat It and having a little cry, remembering you. No, that's ignorant. Listen, dude, I'm ready to go. Okay. How do you say... Whoops. Oops, that was my fault. How do you say goodbye in Ojibwe? Well, like I was telling John Denver, we don't say goodbye. We say, I'll see you again. Gigawabamin, Minawa. Gigawabamin, Minawa, Nanaboozhoo. Yeah, you do, Michael. Michael Jackson, sweetie. Yeah, he's funny. I know he is. You don't think people remember Michael Jackson fondly? No, I think what lasts in the Michael Jackson memory now is all the scandals. And, sadly, maybe not sadly, it just overshadows his music and stuff. And to be fair, we shouldn't even compare Michael Jackson with Prince. Why? Well, because Prince actually wrote his own songs he played all the instruments, and he was a much more talented person. Didn't Michael Jackson write his own songs? I think he wrote some of the lyrics, but he didn't play any instruments. And like, how we have that one song on this show, welcome to, or you've come to the right place, Niji. Oh yeah, to learn about it all. Yeah. I stole that from a Michael Jackson song, but that's where I learned that piano part was written by the guy from Toto. Tell me why? Tell him that it's human nature. Oh yeah. Yeah, so that's a pretty song, but the guy from Toto actually wrote it. I mean, he wrote all the piano parts, all the melody, da 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 dum, la dee dee dum. I mean, Michael Jackson's a pretty good performer, good singer, I suppose. But from my opinion, one man's opinion, I think Prince was a better musician. Yeah. But nobody's as good as Paul Stanley. You got that right. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Stanley. How's it going, people? Are you ready to rock and roll all night and party every day? I can't hear you. Paul, what is it, Nanaboozhoo? Paul Stanley, guys. Hey, everybody. So, do you want to get up here? Sure. Someone talk to the crew? Yeah. I'm going to let Natasha talk. I don't know. I'm in a weird mood. Here's a song we wrote. Michael Lyons wrote, actually. But I play. It's called Fourth Fret. And BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO will return after these messages with the lovely and talented Natasha. Miigwech biz and da we egg. Thank you for listening. BOOZHOO! Natasha Nindijanakaz. Natasha is my name. And oh, it's so beautiful out here. What a beautiful morning. Anyway, how you guys doing? I just had to come out here and say a little prayer. You know how we are. It may be Iskwa Anama good. It's after prayer day. But sometimes you just gotta pray anyway. You don't just wait for Sunday. No. Okay. So I got some asema and tobacco. I'm gonna say, Getchi manadu. Otapanan niwi asema. Great Spirit, accept my tobacco. Deka we took a wishin, ando minowe nungum. Help me to speak well today. Mikwech ka iji kakina keku, ka iji chikea nungum. Thank you for everything that you do today. Mikwech ka iji way back. Thank you for the weather. Mikwech ka Mamaraziyan, thank you for my life. Abenke. Amen. And, well, I mean, you don't have to come out in nature to be with God. God's really everywhere. But sometimes I just feel more connected to the Great Spirit when I come out in His creation. At the same time, it's awfully noisy out in God's country. Computer! Boop, 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 boop. And program. Boop, 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 boop. Whoops, that didn't work at all. Doggone it. I had a holodeck joke planned. I better go home. Okay, BOOZHOO.
Hi, sweetie.
Hey, did your holodeck joke work?
No, I forgot. We changed out that picture. It was just a picture of the Supertramp album.
Oh, do you want me to teleport you home?
Yeah, would you mind?
Nah. Let me lock in on your coordinates.
Okay.
1 to teleport.
Make it so, number 1. Isn't it working?
Yeah, hold on a sec. Okay, push and hold the button, and then jiggle the wire.
You gotta jiggle the wire first, and then push and hold at the same. Time.
Hey, welcome back.
Thank you.
So the holodeck thing didn't work?
No. What I thought was going to be the holodeck turned out to be Supertramp, Breakfast in America. When I was young, it seemed that life was so wonderful. Oh, beautiful. Oh, it was magical. Material, criminal. And then they sent me away to tell me how to be sensible. Oh, logical. They're trying to colonize our minds. That's what that song is about, you know.
Really?
Yeah. Supertramp was all about, you got to decolonize your mind, you know. The man wants you to think a certain way. It wasn't enough to steal our land. They wanted to steal our souls. They're going to steal our identities, our language, our culture. Leave us with nothing. They want to send me away to teach me how to speak English and act like a non-Indian. We called it boarding school. There were times when all our ancestors went to boarding school. I bet there were a lot of good times in boarding schools and nobody ever talks about.
Yeah, of course. It was still their childhood and their school experience.
My grandma used to love talking about boarding school. We'd be at some conference or whatever, and, you know, the speakers would all be about
the oppression of Native Americans. And my grandma, she'd be like, oh, I had such fun at boarding school. You know, we played basketball. You know, I'd be like, Grandma, shh. Nobody wants to be reminded of what a great time you had in boarding school. But you did, you know. By the time my grandma went to Flandreau, you know, it was a pretty good school. They had girls' sports. You know, she had a lot of friends. She had family down there. Here's a story from my grandma. Back in the days of the grandmothers, when you went to boarding school, in addition to learning, you know, the 3 R's, reading, writing, arithmetic, which is the dumbest thing ever, but they also taught the girls home economics. You would learn how to sew and cook and keep a budget and how to run a house if you were like the homemaker. And the boys would take shop and work out on the farm. Early in the mornings, the boys would do military marches, and the girls would prepare the breakfast. And, you know, the kids, you know, they also ran. I mean, the adults ran the school, but the kids lived at the school and they performed a lot of jobs. But anyway, so the girls, you know, they had a basketball team. And this is the 1930s, I suppose. And my grandma would say, you know, back in those days, all the girls' uniforms, they just wore skirts. And she goes, you know, we were a really good team. We could really jump. But then it would be so embarrassing because when we come down for a rebound, the boys could see our panties, our pantaloons, our bloomers, or whatever they're called. And so she goes, one day we went down to the home ec room and we said, you know what, let's just sew our skirts together in the middle. We'll make little pajamas out of them. That's what she called them. We made pajamas. And then pretty soon everyone's like, hey, that looks great. What do you call those? So there's shorts and it's a skirt. We turned into shorts. Let's call them skirts. But then that was kind of the beginning of women wearing pants in the Flandreau boarding school. And my grandma, you know, she was like a Rosie the Riveter. She was the original Rosie the Riveter. When World War II broke out, a lot of the women went to work in what was used to be men jobs. And so my grandma went down to, was it Minneapolis or St. Paul? I think St. Paul. And she went to work, working on these airplanes, you know, riveting and cleaning, whatever. And she would tell stories. She goes, oh, I used to be so little. I was the only one who could squeeze inside to clean for the machine gun turrets. You know? She met a bunch of GIs. Oh, yeah, they taught me how to assemble a machine gun with blindfolded. You know? But she was so not a feminist. She would never in a million years think of herself in that way. But she was that generation of the first women to go into work. Later on, she went to college. She became one of the first Native American women to get a teaching degree from Bemidji State College, Teachers College or whatever. And, you know, she ran a business. I mean, she pretended my grandpa ran it, but she was one to do all the books and stuff. You know, she was smart, capable, bold. But she loved boarding school, and she played sports, and she has just a lot of very positive childhood memories that just so happened to take place at the place where we're constantly going, oh yeah, those boarding schools, what a nightmare, huh? And she goes, what are you talking about? I loved my school experience. It's like, okay. Party Till You Puke is a good song, too. Party till you puke. What's the matter with you, Wally Bear? Denim and Leather is a great Saxon song. Saxon? Oh, I gotta go back. Let's see who's here. Ruby's here. Oh, is she really? Yeah. Hey, Ruby. You getting the band back together, Wally Bear? La-di-da. Who else is here? Did I see Millie June Thomas? Hey, Millie June Thomas. Millie June Thomas loves Supertramp. I know, aren't they great? What I love about Supertramp, I was saying this yesterday, or maybe you were, is that you don't confuse Supertramp with any other band. They have their own sound. I mean, it's still fit in the rock and roll category, but, they're totally an original sounding band. There are so few bands that are like that. Wally Bear, you wouldn't break G-strings if you wouldn't leave those women alone. Hey, Wally, how long does it take to change your G-string? I have a really dirty guitar joke, but I'm not going to tell it here. Hey, surrealist! Mino giga sheb dush achimiquech ga junia. Good morning. Thank you so much for the generous offering, the Junia. We got another $100 from Surrealist. Hoka hey, miquech Surrealist, you're the best. I know. She got some musical hearts, a purple heart, and a guitar. Sunny day. Anyway, so yeah. I mean, sometimes I feel guilty when we talk about the boarding schools. Michael's grandfather had a pretty unpleasant experience there, and he ran away and did all this. But the history of our ancestors isn't just black and white. It isn't just the bad times. And my grandmother, she wore those grandma rose-colored glasses. She only remembered the good times. And even in what history records as being the worst of times, my grandma remembered the best times. Even being poor in the Depression, living just at the bare minimum. Even living in boarding school, being far away from your mom. And, but she found friends and cousins and learned. And that's the other thing that boarding schools don't get any credit for. If you made it through boarding school, if you actually graduated from Flandreau in the 30s, you were pretty well educated. These were like elite, they had really high standards. The kids who would make it through the Indian boarding schools, lots of them went on to go on to college, become professionals, It wasn't like we graduated and just ran straight back into the bush. It's like, oh, good thing I got through boarding school. I can go back to trapping for a living. No, a lot of those people now, they had all the skills to succeed in this new colonized, country. And my grandma was like that too, She credits the boarding school with why she always wanted to be a teacher. And she has some good friends, not friends, but good relationships with teachers. Some of those boarding school teachers became like step-parents to the kids. Because you got to remember, at Flandreau, they didn't even get to go home at Christmas. And even the teachers lived at the boarding school. So Christmas would come, and they'd have programs and feast and, holiday stuff that they'd share with the other kids in their school and with the teachers and coaches and farm hands and the janitor guys and stuff. But that doesn't make such a good movie, just showing Indians having a great time at boarding school. Like I learned not that long ago about the Washington Redskins. Yeah, isn't that fascinating? Yeah. Do you guys know why they call it the Washington Redskins? a lot of the original Washington Redskins professional football players were recruited from the Carlisle Indian School in Pennsylvania or wherever that was. And Carlisle had a national champion football program, high school football. And so the kids graduated from this boarding school that also had like military drills every morning and working on the farm and sports. You know, these guys were ready for pro football. And so like when they were putting the team together, the coaches were like, you know, our team is half Indian. They didn't say Native American in those days. Oh, our team is half Indian. Half these kids are Indian. And they go, we should call ourselves the Redskins. There's so many Indians here. Yeah, okay, we're the Washington Redskins, you know. Because look at us. It's the Indian team, you know. Later on, it would become, 100% black. But in the early days, there was a lot of Native Americans who were pro football players. You know. I think that's part of our colonized mind, too. What's that? We got a tendency to make our biggest losers the only people we remember from history. Oh, Leonard Peltier, blah, blah, blah. Every Indian knows his name. What'd he do? He got himself arrested for his whole life. I mean, whether or not he's guilty or whatever, he's a victim of the times or a terrorist, or I don't know what his problem is. But, he's nobody's hero. The Washington Redskins, the original Indian guys who went from high school to pro football, I want to know their story. I want to know about the people who got out of boarding school and just crushed. There was a lot of us who were, not just the worst, I'm so tired. I think, this is what I don't like about education. We've kind of trained our kids to think of Indian history and Indian identity as a bundle of problems. It's like, oh yeah, what's an Indian? Oh, we're the people who lost our language and our culture and were oppressed by the man, had to go to boarding school, genocide, I don't know. But you're awfully quiet. No, you're making a lot of sense. That's about all the time we have for today, huh, sweetie? Yep, that's about it. Do you want to add anything before I sign out? No. All right, how about you? Hey, will you remind them of the books? Oh, sure. If you'd like to support the show, we've got links in the description to PayPal, Patreon, and GoFundMe. And Michael has books for sale like BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO and Dog and Megan for sale on Amazon.com. These two are picture books for little kids. Dog and Megan teaches how to count to 10 in Ojibwe. And BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO teaches how to say hello, squirrel. Duh. But it does. And a whole bunch of animal names and how to say I'll see you again. And it's a picture book from the rock star cartoonist Michael Lyons. No. All right. Having said that, let me say this. Miigwech bizendawiyeg. Thank you for listening. Dush miigwech ganawabieg. Thank you for watching BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. I am Natasha. This is NANABOOZHOO. Okay, miigwech. And thanks again, Surrealist. Yeah, thank you so much. And this is Michael Lyons. Thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow. And I will see you again. Gigawapa min. Minawa. Sweetie pie? 1 to teleport. Make it so, number 1. No. All right, hang on.